Okay, so to start, we have our three different scenarios that we're given. We can see them here. Option A, U.S. Treasury bond, 10-year maturity, 4.5% coupon rate. Currently priced at $98 with a $100 face value and semi-annual payments. Then option B is a different type of bond, 10-year maturity, 5.2% coupon rate. Currently priced $102, $2 over the face value. Rated double A plus by S&P and semi-annual payments. And then we have our third bond, which is a 10-year maturity, 3.8% coupon rate, currently priced at the par value. And then we have some other facts, like our grandmother's in the 32nd percent tax bracket. Interest rates just rose 0.2% and may rise another 0.5% next quarter. So we're trying to find which bond offers the best after-tax yield with a lot of other questions. So let's go down and start assessing. So the key metrics are the after-tax current yield and the after-tax yield to maturity, as the latter kind of accounts for the purchase price or like the, I guess, discount or premium depending. The current yield is very important. So we see our interest rate risks, which are all moderate, pretty standard range, 4.5, 3.8 to 5.2. Current yield, tax status. The only one's tax exempt is option C, actually, which is a big plus for that certain bond. And then on our credit risk is none with the U.S. Treasury, low for Apple Corp, but moderate for C. So it's kind of a give and take with the tax exempt and then a moderate credit risk. So to find the current yield, we just take our annual coupon and we divide by the price paid, and our annual coupon is literally just our rate into dollars, to give us 4.59% for A and 5.10% for B. And then this equivalence for option C, we'd use a different equation as their tax exempt, of tax exempt yield divided by 1 minus tax rate, instead of the current yield times 1 minus tax rate for the after-tax current yield. So C has the highest rate by far and offers the best current income, as we see here for the three different rates. After-tax current yield, C is currently in the lead. So this kind of makes option C, the muni bond, very appealing, because the 5.59% is just to match the 3.8% tax-free of income. And so a rise in the market interest rates by 0.5% will honestly cause the price of all existing bonds to decrease, and the new bonds will be issued with higher coupon rates. So the price will fall for all three with this change. But option A's discounted price will be slightly more exposed to immediate capital loss due to the spike in the volatility. And the muni bond, just another note, the muni bond's 3.8% is effectively better than the 5.2% Apple bond due to taxes, because the muni bond's not getting taxed. So now we go to credit downgrade risk. So there's zero credit risk for U.S. Treasury, so a downgrade is impossible, so there's no real effect. B, there's slight low risk. It's not very risky, pretty secure. And then C is obviously the highest chance to default, even though it looks like it'll give us the best return. It does have the highest chance to default. So now our recommended mix. We would recommend, just based on the possible intake, even though it might be the riskiest, C in like a 50-ish percentile of your money on C, then B, as it's a little safer option with a little less, and then A, which if we go back up, A makes us the least, I'm pretty sure the least amount per year. However, it's clearly the safest, so it's good to have some of the safest diversified into your portfolio. So about 50% with the riskier, most high upside, 30% the safe bond, and then maybe about 20% with option B, which is kind of just middle of the road on both fronts, with riskiness and return. So AI seems to recommend waiting a little longer, as the market is kind of signaling for further rate hikes. I mean, they literally tell us it might rise 0.5% in the next quarter, which is what we'd like to see, increase our yield on better income. So kind of hold the cash in high yield savings accounts, with hopefully the spikes in yield percentage will increase our cash flow. Then we have some other considerations for our grandmother. So inflation risk. The fixed income from bonds may not keep up with inflation, eroding the purchasing power of her steady income over 10 years. So saying diversify, or maybe kind of out of this problem, but invest in something other than just bonds. Jeez. Sorry, excuse me. Liquidity. While these are liquid instruments, selling a bond before maturity may result in a capital loss. So she just needs to ensure that the $500K she's investing isn't money she needs in the short term, because it's not like a very high % chance her money will increase right away. Bonds can be a longer term sort of ordeal. So we just want to make sure that that money that she's putting down, she's not needing to rip out right away or trying to make money fast, because that's not what this is going to do. And then diversification, we kind of talked about that earlier with putting our bonds in different places. So this exercise kind of just showed us the difference between some bonds which have better return. Most bonds that have better return are riskier, and then most bonds that have a very small return have very little risk. So it's honestly just a give and take. It's almost a gambler's game. So let me go down and we see our Python code. We have some equations, how we got our current yield, annual coupon payment divided by price. We already went over after-tax current yield. And then tax-exempt equivalent yield, tax-exempt yield divided by 1 minus t. And then we have our yield to maturity equation, which we can look at here. C, semi being semi-annual coupon payment. YTM, year to maturity. N times M is the total number of semi-annual periods, which is 20. Payments per period, semi-annual, so twice. Then we have our face value up here, with this formula. So then we come down, we have our Python code, our bond data, showing us our different statistics from above. Then we have calculate bond annual coupon payment, do annual coupon equals bond coupon rate times the face value. Then we have the current yields, which we kind of talked about before, equals annual coupon divided by bond, and then you insert price here. After-tax current yield. Tax-exempt equivalent yield will just be none, but after-tax current yields equals current yield times 1 minus tax rate. Muni bond is tax-exempt, so ATCY would equal the CY, our current yield. We don't add anything to that. Price equals, that's just kind of defining different functions. Year to maturity equals I think they're just the numbers from earlier. Listed on our statistics sheet, so that should just fill down. We have different returns, current yield. Obviously, it's going to give us percentage, multiply that, or ratio, multiply it by 100. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. So yeah, this is basically all the data at the end, and that's how we should mix up our portfolio. And I hope that that grandma does well. Thank you.